The PNC is very important for Japan because it allows us to play regular test matches against strong countries in a tournament situation, which is great practice for the players for the World Cup. Well, I think the PNC again fits in opposite the Rugby Championship and equivalent of the Six Nations in providing that regular competition. You know, our players, to progress from where we are in the world, which is 12th, to get in the top 8, we need regular, hard test matches. Well, Canada and America both have had, difficult times of late. Professionalism has not treated each of the countries kindly, and they're trying to find their feet again. Canada, I think, have been developing under Kingsley Jones, their head coach, and will be improved. And America, again, are basically restarting and setting themselves for the 2031 World Cup. Then, of course, you've got the 3 island teams, Fiji doing exceedingly well at the last World Cup, full of good young players benefiting from the Drua in Super Rugby. Samoa and Tonga always have plenty of talent. Yeah, well, I think it's great to have finals in the PNC, and to play those finals again gives the players experience of playing games that have a consequence, and that's really important. And for Japan to host those games, it's another opportunity to show that we're a great rugby country. Yeah, pressure's a funny word. I think in any high performance competition, there's pressure to win, there's pressure to perform. That's all part of it. But what I like about this competition is that it has a consequence. So you have a winner of the competition and you play finals, and again, those games are really great experience opportunities. Well, I think everyone starts on the same starting line. I don't think anyone has an advantage. So, we'll just take each game as it comes. There's obviously quality opposition there, so we're looking forward to playing against those teams.
It's exciting to have annual fixtures against the likes of Canada and Japan, Fiji, Tonga, Samoa is just going to bring certainty to our annual fixtures to give us a lot of competitive minutes that we're not always used to as an organization. And it gives us something to look forward to, and it gives our coaching staff and everyone involved ample time to really prepare and plan for the long-term goal, which is the next World Cup hosted in Australia in 2027. And so I know from my perspective and speaking with a lot of the other boys on the team, we're just excited to be able to compete and play the sport that we love, especially having competition against a team like Fiji or Japan, who have made some great runs in recent World Cups, and we know they're going to play a brand of rugby that's fast, that's physical, that's high tempo, and that's something that we need. We need competition, and we need to be challenged. It's massive. Rugby has so many fans that I think are just untapped. They don't really know what rugby is yet, but I know for a fact if we bring in these Tier 1 nations who produce a great brand of rugby, that's just going to add to the momentum and to raise awareness and exposure to this sport that we all love. And so to have Scotland come in here in July and in 2025 to host the PNC with the teams like Japan and Fiji is incredible for us as a union and as a country, where we're looking forward to 2031. We want to bring as many eyes possible to the sport so we have a successful Rugby World Cup campaign, and we do it in the right way. And so it's huge to have these fixtures looking forward to. And I'm just excited to be a part of it, and I'm ready to go. Yeah, I'm just excited to go to Japan this year if I'm fortunate to be selected in the squad and represent our great country. But knowing that it's going to be here hosted in the USA in 2025 is spectacular. We have the fan base, we have the facilities, and we have the players ready to compete. But just knowing that we have this long-term plan ahead of us with certain fixtures to look forward to is absolutely what we need as a union. We need certainty around our test matches every year, so we have ample enough time to plan and prepare and to put our best foot forward. Yeah, I mean, I think every team in this PNC tournament is gunning to win this thing and to raise the cup. But for us as an Eagles organization, our eyes are set on winning this thing and also starting to understand who we are as a union, our identity both on and off the field, and figure out the brand of rugby that suits our strengths best. And I think that's what's going to be paramount about this PNC Tour, is to have ample minutes on the field against Tier 1 nations. Competitive minutes for a minimum of 3 games every year is exactly what we need. And on the personal front, there's a quote that I live by. It's be the player that everyone wants to play with. And I think there's no greater sign of respect to have someone from another hemisphere, someone from another continent, different leagues, want to share the field with me one day. That's something that I'm gunning for. And then the next thing is I want to be able to have my name in the conversation with who's the best wingers in the world. And it's not often you hear of an American Eagle, American rugby player talked about, some of the best in the world, where it's always the likes of the Tier 1 nations. So a goal of mine is to put my name in that hat and start bringing awareness of what I can do on the field. I want to be competitive, and I want to become the best player that I possibly can be. It's everything. I think we've lacked that in years past with our union. There's been some times where we go halfway through the year still not knowing who we're playing in the fall or the months to come. So to have a long-term vision and certainty around who we're going to play and when we're going to play is paramount. I know the coaches are ecstatic. It's going to give us more time to prepare, more time in camp to gel as a union and start identifying our strengths as a team and how we're going to be able to use those strengths to our advantage and produce a brand of rugby that we're trying to produce as a union. And as a player, just knowing where I'm going to go, who I'm going to play, it just gives me the confidence to put in the training, to put in the hard work, and to come prepared for whatever test may be later in the year. So I'm extremely ecstatic, and I'm very privileged and fortunate that we have this certainty for us as a union now. I'm just happy it's in LA, not Canada. I mean, we're going to be in the sunny state of California, good weather. I know Canada is excited, but what I'm really excited about is Southern California has a ton of youth rugby fans. It's this hot pocket of rugby, which you don't often find elsewhere in the USA. So to be able to play in an area that has a big rugby focus, especially in the youth programs, and to have a test match against our cross-border rivals, Canada, it's everything I could ask for. It's an opportunity to represent my country in front of home fans, in front of family and friends. That's all you can ask for as a player. There's no greater privilege. I still remember the day that I played my first time against Canada, singing the national anthem with mom and dad in the stands, and I looked over at them, and it gives me chills to this day because it's one of the greatest memories I have as a rugby player. And to hopefully replicate that again August 31st in LA against Canada, if I'm fortunate and privileged enough to be able to represent the U.S. on that day and be selected to play, I've got no other words. I rate all the other PNC opponents. I mean, Fiji, Japan, Samoa, Tonga, they all bring a brand of rugby that's super dominant, that's super physical. And I know it's going to be a challenge for us, but I respect them. There's no team that I wouldn't want to face in the final. If I had my choice, I'd love to go against Fiji or Japan. I mean, Japan has upset some teams in the years past with the likes of South Africa that no one thought was possible. So they're definitely they're a team that we can't look past. And Fiji just made it to the quarterfinals of the last World Cup and narrowly lost to England. So we know they're going to come gunning for us and they're going to be competitive. And I think it's on us to just understand who we are as a team, what we bring to the table, play to our strengths, stick to the system, trust the coaches, and also the component of just enjoying it. I mean, there's no other greater privilege than to represent your country in a sport, and to be able to go over to Japan this year and represent the USA in rugby in a country that really, really likes the sport, that has, garnered a lot of support through League One and League Two. We're excited. And I think we're just excited for the challenge and to be able to play competitive minutes.